All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video as we update everything that happened in 49er news on this Wednesday, February the 4th. All right, let's get right into it. A lot of interesting things going on in Niner news. Probably the number one story of the day is that Roger Craig, former Niner, is going to the Hall of Fame. He'll be part of the class of 2026. Multiple reports indicate that Craig is going to get in. This is long overdue. Oh, my God. Congratulations to Roger Craig. What an incredible moment this is for the 49ers. The Niners dynasty is underrepresented in Canton, period. Bottom line. End of story. And they need more representation than they've had. And they were that great of a team. And this guy was that great of a player. So I'm really glad that he's in. I've been fighting this fight for a while to get him in. He's a legend. And now he's a Hall of Famer. So the 2026 class will be formally announced Thursday night during the NFL Honors Show. And Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft, it looks like, are going to be snubbed. And at least one of the senior finalists, and possibly all three, Roger Craig, Kenny Anderson, and Elsie Greenwood, will be enshrined. But Craig is the first player to reach 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards in the same season. First player to score 3 touchdowns in a single Super Bowl. 88 Offensive Player of the Year. All Pro Bowl fullback, Pro Bowl halfback. One of the great receivers in his position. Long overdue. And, he was, Roger Craig's statistical resume would have been better if he had not played with Jerry Rice. Instead, he did. But he still belongs in, and he's in, and way to go, Roger Craig. So that is the first big news of the day. A couple other Niner notes. The NBC has hired Fred Warner and Kyle Shanahan. That's right. The Niners middle linebacker and their head coach will be part of the Super Bowl 60 NBC pregame show. Also, Fred Warner said today that he loves, the Raheem Morris hire. Really loves it. But you know who doesn't love it? Dante Whitner. Listen to what Dante Whitner had to say about the Raheem Morris hire. This is going to blow you away. Here's Dante Whitner.
People achieve success without merit. I truly believe that the 49ers will be looking for their next defensive coordinator, mainly because they hired based on friendship and they went with the safe bet here. Now you say, he might have earned it, Whitner. He might have earned it. His track record as a defensive back coach in Washington, 30th ranked pass defense, 26, 28, 24. He goes and gets nepotized again in Atlanta with his college coach, Dan Quinn. 250 plus yards given up, 19th ranked. Then Dan Quinn gets fired and you assume the role bottom ranked in defense again that year. 2021 comes. McVay makes a call and gives him the responsibility of taking on Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey in the number 1 defense in 2021. None of it was earned. None of it was merit. Now you're the 15th, 16th, 17th ranked defense in the league with the same players. And the only reason you win the Super Bowl is because you had an all-world offense that year. So then you go to Atlanta, 23rd in points in 2024, 23rd in yards, 22nd in pass defense, 31st in sacks, 2025, 19th in points, 15th in total yards. How does this make the San Francisco 49ers?
All right, there you go. A little bit of Dante Whitner talking Raheem Morris. Also today, Christian McCaffrey was named the 2025 NFL Salute to Service Award winner, honoring an athlete that does great things for the military, and CMC was given that award. Kendrick Bourne, who's a free agent to be, was down at Radio Row. He says he hopes to be back with the 49ers in 2026. He'd like to be back. Diana Rossini reported that the Eagles are going to get at least a second-round pick for A.J. Brown. Should the Niners trade a second-round pick for the wide receiver? Jay Glazer reporting today that the Raiders are going to trade Max Crosby this offseason and that he is going to fetch a Micah Parsons-like trade package. A lot of people, Sean Merriman the other day said the Niners ought to go after, Max Crosby. And Max Crosby's great. I just don't think the 49ers are one player away. I really don't. I don't think it's the right move. Trey McBride and Garrett Bowles are both current NFL players who say that the electrical substation talk around the 49ers is credible and they believe in it. And he thinks that will deter players from signing with the 49ers, but not all players believe it. Here's a little bit of former Niner tight end Delaney Walker weighing in. He doesn't think there's anything to it.
I got a quick question. Now, you were on Bussin' with the Boys talking about the electrical substation. Yeah. That's the topic of the debate, man.
Yeah.
So, real quick, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's going to deter people from signing here in the offseason?
Hey, look, I'm going to be honest. When I did that story, I was joking, but at the end of the day, them sub panels ain't doing anything. Those boys been there since the 80s. Okay. Jerry Rice, they won multiple Super Bowls. We went to Super Bowls. We didn't have any injuries. Obviously, yes, they are taking injuries that are really crazy. But again, it's football. These injuries will occur. I don't think it has anything to do with the sub panel station or whatever, the electrical station. We got to have an excuse sometimes. when we don't get there, we got to figure out why is that. But at the end of the day, the Yorks, the DeBarlos, they're a great organization. They will not let nothing happen to their investment. We are their investment. If you think they're going to let something happen to us, people are crazy. So I just think it's we chasing aliens, you know?
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah. Hey.
All right, a little word there from Delaney Walker. Fred Warner was asked today, who is the defensive player that impressed you the most when you were out and you could just watch? And he said Upton Stout. He said he's got the biggest dog in him. And there's no question, Upton Stout's 5'8", 175, and yet he plays like a guy who's 235. So very, very good answer there from Fred. Upton Stout. He said he's got that unbelievable dog in him. And Greg Cosell was on the radio this week, and he was asked about the 49ers' plans for 2026, and he thinks the Niners need to add another running back or two to their running back stable and limit the touches for CMC. CMC had 450 touches. I mean, it's just not sustainable. You got to bring him back, of course, but you got to bring him back as part of a committee. Who would I build around him? The two backs that I like the most, David Montgomery of the Lions went to Iowa State with Brock Purdy. There was some overlap there. He's a great back. He's a run between the tackles back. The Lions are hugged up against the cap. There's a lot of talk he's going to be a cap casualty. If he is, that's a guy. That's the guy I'd sign. You sign David Montgomery. You let CMC run the Jahmyr Gibbs role. And then the back that I'm impressed with in the draft is the Indiana kid, Kalon Black, who's just got the heart of a lion. Absolute heart of a lion. If I ran that show, that's my running back room next year. CMC, David Montgomery, and Indiana's rookie, Kalon Black. All right, that's going to do it for your 49er update. Lots of interesting notes in Ninerland, and the offseason is barely underway. Super Bowl Sunday will be here shortly. Of course, the Niners will not be in the Super Bowl, but the Patriots and Seahawks will. The Seahawks, by the way, will be in the Niners locker room. They'll have the home locker room. The Patriots, even though they're the home team, will be getting ready in the visitors locker room. All right, there you go. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. They're soon to open in Petaluma. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. And thanks to Sleeper. That's right. The link's in the description. Use promo code Larry. Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.